here, and I will go live on Twitch out of studio mode and get the sound on. All right, there we go. And we're live. Great. I'm pleased to have the Cocktail Bandits with me today. Besides just being really cool, just to be able to talk about cocktails, they're CFC alumni. So always want to support our alumni. Johnny Caldwell and Taneka Reaves. Yes, welcome. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So let's start with just the background story. I know you met in a class freshman year. Tell us about that. And
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm Johnny Caldwell.
And I'm Taneka Reaves. And we are the Cocktail Bandits, your curly ladies who talk cocktails daily.
Yes, and we are located in beautiful and historic Charleston, South Carolina, where we curate cocktails and host events based around food and beverage culture, not just in Charleston, but beyond.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, we actually met on the first day of College of Charleston. The first day I even came on campus, we met that day. I was with a group of friends and, a group of girls I went to high school with who actually came to College of Charleston. And she was with some friends that she met in another program with the College of Charleston. And then we ended up linking up and becoming friends that very day.
That's right.
Yeah.
We, the group wanted to walk down to the Battery. Yeah. And at first we didn't know what they were doing. They were just walking. We're like, all right, we're down for the walking. And then they said they're going to the Battery. We're like, whoa, that's way too far of us to be. So we turned back around and went and did our own thing. We've been pretty much doing that ever since.
Yeah, that was the days when we used to wear heels to class every day. So we weren't ruining our heels on those Charleston cobblestones.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. We're going to have to revamp that.
Yeah, catch you guys the next time. But we definitely spent a lot of time exploring downtown Charleston. Mm-hmm. I'm a native. I grew up in Mount Pleasant, but I never really got involved with downtown very often when I was young. We just never came downtown for cultural community type of reasons. And that's a whole nother conversation. But when I got to the College of Charleston, being in the hub of the food and beverage community, and then also being with Taneka, who is from Florence area, she loved Charleston so much. And I was like, oh, kind of over it. But then I was like, Charleston's kind of cool. There's a lot going on here.
It is. When you come from a town, I come from the outskirts of Florence. So my town is about 3,000 people. So when you come to Charleston, this is big city. This is New York. So when I went to College of Charleston, the first time I visited, I was like, yes, this is where I'm going to live. I'm not going anywhere. Even afterwards, I'm going to stay here. And 17 years later, we're still doing our thing.
That's right.
Great. So obviously, this is probably not what you decided to do on the day you met. So how did this kind of evolve from that first day to what you do?
Well, there's so many different factors. A big factor was social media. When we were freshmen in 2004, Facebook had just came out. We were one of the first classes to get Facebook, and it was only campus-wide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like our own in-school social media network where we felt like it was just us communicating with each other.
Right.
We had staff, people like you would be a part of it and be like, you guys need to go to class. You guys need to stop fighting. It was that kind of schoolhouse type of environment.
And Charleston, College of Charleston was one of the first schools to get Facebook as well. So this was, beginning days. I refused to get it the first year. That's how against it I was. I was just against the social media. I was against the connection. I was like, I don't know if I trust this Facebook thing. Because I knew for some reason it was going to be what it is right now.
Yeah.
And I saw that then, but everyone just was like, oh, get on Facebook, show your life. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I might want to keep that to myself. But definitely. I think too, when we first met, we kind of prepared ourselves for the journey that we're on now. Because we always went out to different places. We have been going places that were different out of the way since we were in college. We just weren't old enough to drink at that time. And then when we were 21, we definitely tried out different bars and restaurants, and that's what really got us into the business, is because we didn't see a lot of people that looked like us on either side, front of house, back of house, or even the patrons.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So what attracted you to wanting to just explore all these different places?
I don't know. I think a lot of our friends in college and afterwards were like really drinking to get drunk. It was like party, smash the cocktails, and we were looking for a different kind of experience, like more of ambiance to the environment. We should sit down when someone will like actually talk to you, introduce the community to you. So being in those elevated spaces, you started to see what wasn't there, what was lacking in those spaces. And it was also our perspective was missing. Like some of our, go-to products that people of color always order or ask for were not at bars. People that could actually explain to us what was the meal, what was the pairing. It just was not happening. So it was like, there's something that's missing. We need to bring this back to our young, entrepreneurial, upwardly mobile class of friends who are also looking for something different to do with their free time.
Absolutely. I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of that, because I feel like it was like a synergy of a lot of different things. Johnny, when we finished College of Charleston, Johnny went off to law school and I got into the service world, and she would come visit me. So there are two different worlds that are happening here that are connecting. When she couldn't find work in the law profession and I couldn't find work downtown in restaurants, Johnny and one of our other business partners, another College of Charleston alum, started this event called Movers and Shakers Mix, where we were able to get young up-and-coming professionals together, where they were able to tell about what they're doing, what they have going on, able to meet people in the community that are doing the same thing, maybe start something together, maybe create something together. And we that platform was created. In that platform, we were making cocktails for people to try. And that's when their curiosity, they were asking us more questions about the drinks. They wanted to be involved. They were asking about elevated drinks that we weren't even featuring at the bar, just that was already at the bar. So we started to see the need through these other avenues that we were working in.
Yeah. So that's often how a business gets started, is that you just start doing something and people ask you for more, and at some point you realize, hey, you know what, maybe there's a business here. But it's really interesting that you had that networking group. Is that still around, or was that just a short time thing?
We did that for about 3 years, and that's when we started the Cocktail Bandit brand during that time.
Inside of it.
And we started getting so much traction from the Cocktail Bandits that we kind of, didn't focus so much on the Movers and Shakers mix as much. But we still have an audience. People still ask us to bring those events back. And there really hasn't been a space that replaced what Movers and Shakers was doing, especially in the multicultural community here in Charleston.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking about it, because through the forums that I've been doing, and just in other talking with women of color entrepreneurs and all that, that networking is the thing comes up all the time, is finding a better way, finding a place and a platform and all that. So that would, if there's any way I can help you get that going again.
Work to do. We don't need no more work. So we're gonna figure something out, because people have been saying that to us a lot, especially with the pandemic and things opening back up. So it's a good time to start something like that up again. But we'll see. We got too much on our plate.
And I think back then, the reason why we didn't keep Movers and Shakers going, because it was a negative connotation with alcohol in business.
Yeah.
So they were making us basically choose which one we wanted to do.
Oh, I see.
So now in networking events, you're going to get drinks at them. We're doing corporate events online with all kind of corporate companies, lawyers, firms, all types of people. But 7 years ago, that still was like, are we going to have just liquor? Are you guys going to just be promoting liquor at your networking events? So we had to choose.
Yeah. Well, what you might want to look at doing is mentoring somebody else to do it.
Okay.
One of the people that are asking you to do it, say, you know what, I'll help you do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that way, you know, you don't, it doesn't take your time, but you could still use your knowledge and it could still happen.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Definitely needed in the community, especially as people have gotten into entrepreneurship as a way to survive the pandemic.
Yeah.
Keep that going. Even our business has evolved during this time period. So.
Yeah. And like I said, I've been trying to find more ways to do stuff like that. So like I said, I'd be happy to try and help in some way to arrange it.
Supported us. Yes. Even we hosted as a part of the Movers and Shakers Mix a political forum because we did a lot of community service work, and he actually hosted us and gave us space on campus to have that event. So there's no doubt that you guys will support us in that. You've been very supportive of all of our ventures. Thank you, CFC. Yeah.
Try, do what we can. And always looking to be able to do more.
Yeah.
Right. So you already brought up the pandemic.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's really changed the world. You know, it's changed a lot of things. You're already on social media, right? So the transition probably was not as difficult, but I know you also do, you know, you're doing stuff in person. So how did that really affect, you know, what you all did?
I think it's a twofold question because we did a lot of social media work, but we did a lot of work in person with just a lot of different brands that we met in the past.
Yeah.
So when they were confused or didn't know what they wanted to do because they weren't very big on social media or barely had a presence, they reached out to us. So that was a way for us to start working fairly soon after everything got shut down because the brands were concerned, big alcohol brands like Patron, you know, just the big brands. They really wanted to know how they could help. And they reached out to people like us who had already had a footprint online to see how we could elevate. And for us, it just was different because now we're doing the lives and we're doing the virtuals. We weren't doing things before because we were just posting what we were experiencing, not really interacting via social media.
Yeah, a lot of times we would do in-person events and the brands would not even ask for any social media content. Yeah. We would just go in, do that event in person, and leave. But now all of them want some type of creative content that they can post on their social media that can live on our channel as well, and even on our website. They really want to have that presence online. And I'll take it back again to even when we first started Cocktail Bandits. Back in 2013, when we first started our account, a lot of brands, especially here in Charleston, did not even have an Instagram account
at all.
So
barely Facebook.
They barely were present on Facebook. If it was just like a landing page on Facebook. So we had to convince them that they needed to be on social media, one on Instagram, and they needed to pay us to create content for them on social media. That was a very big hurdle to cross back in 2014, 2015. People were just not buying it. They weren't even calling it social media back then. They would specifically say Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, that wasn't a word.
Or Vine. It didn't categorize the entire thing. People would laugh at us when we said
social media. They're like, what do you mean? Just say Twitter. Just say Instagram. It's like, no, all of this is social media.
All of it is. Yeah. Even podcasts, all of that is socially created media. So we had to cross that hurdle of convincing people to do that. So people who were not buying it, who were behind the 8 ball, were very regretful at the time of the pandemic because they did not have even a system on how to connect with influencers, connect with PR companies. They just were completely out of touch with it.
Yeah.
So we were really greatly positioned to be able to take advantage of those opportunities to work with brands like Duraflame, HBO, Amazon Prime. Yeah. I mean, just so many different platforms that don't even have alcohol as being their main focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're working with all of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah. So you talked about, you know, that you had to really make a hard sell to get people on it. I imagine that there were some businesses that got it right away, right?
I think other up and comings.
Yeah.
One of our first big alcohol brands was Cathead Vodka, and they were just coming to, Charleston. The name out there, and the guy that was representing the brand was just young and not from Charleston, which was also a big help. Like people who are from Charleston kind of get certain things. No offense to anyone from Charleston.
Hey, I'm from Charleston. I get it.
But he wasn't from Charleston, so he was able to see bigger picture and just see our vision. and and supported us. He didn't support us with a cash donation at first, but he supported us with product, and it just gave us a little bit of validity, and that's what we needed.
Yeah,
that cosign is so important. Like even now, people when they see branded content like paid sponsorship with 4 Roses, like, oh my gosh, 4 Roses, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's cool too, but other things that we think are like super fun that we create ourselves, and some people don't appreciate those as much.
Or even inspire people to create more things, because there are things that still need to be created.
Yeah.
We're not going to be the ones to do it. So hopefully we inspire other people to be those people to create the things that we still need.
Okay. So you're obviously on Instagram. What else? What do you do? Where are you in social media?
We're on Facebook a little bit. We have a website. It's a beautiful website. Please check it out. We try to keep that as updated as possible because we control that. That's ours.
Yeah.
On Instagram, we're currently dealing with a shadow ban, if you will, on Instagram.
Yes.
So it's a little frustrating that our content is not moving as much as we like it to. And as again, we don't control that platform. So when you are at the mercy of someone else's social media network, you have to work within their algorithms, within their rules. So we encourage everyone to get their own website so that you can control the followers, the subscribers, the ads. All of that is up to you to control yourselves. I highly encourage that.
Absolutely. And I think that all of this happened like during the pandemic. Instagram had to level up so many times because it was one of the primary sources of, getting content out there, getting information out there with these elections, with just everything that was going on with the pandemic as well. Like these platforms need to keep elevating because now we're all at home, and now we're all on it, and they see what's happening with TikTok, so now they want to be TikTok, and it's just there's so many different things. There are rules now. There's so much money going into there now, so they can block the creators. There's just a lot of power in the last year that's been into these social media conglomerates, which is kind of scary.
Yeah. So where do you see it going forward?
What is it?
Well, it as in creators on social media.
I encourage more creators to, like I said, create a website, something that they can own themselves, create a product that they can sell themselves, because Instagram does not pay us. We have never gotten a check from Instagram or from Facebook. All of our money that we get for our content that we create, it comes from the brands directly. Their name is on the check. It'll say Patron. So
or we curated ourselves and that we've sold tickets for.
That's where the payment comes in at. So you have to have yourself be able to be accessed on your own volition, not through someone else's platform. So Patreon is another great one because you're able to have a paywall where you can monetize your creations directly without having to add like ad content in there to create money. So yeah, diversifying your income, having a service or a product that you can sell or offer that does not involve social media. That's going to be the best way for you to survive.
And be really strategic about your postings. A lot of big brands now are stealing small creators' content, and they're just wanting to get their content out there. But when you get a big company like Fashion Nova or Shein or Converse, I've just seen so many creators, even here locally, that have been ripped off because they're being creative, they're bored, they're just throwing stuff up online, and it's actually being stolen and making millions of dollars from these big companies.
So can you give an example?
I can. There's this artist here named Mint Nelson. He actually drew a cow skin on some Vans shoes. He just said mood and posted it online. Fans loved it. They checked it out. They liked it. And then this year they came out with a cow Vans shoe, and they even have a whole advertisement that says mood, like the exact same thing. And I can do like 4 more of those. Just
disgusting. They get worse than that.
They get worse than that, but. And not just in that space. We have so many other spaces where content is just being stolen. Art, designs, recipes.
Yeah.
There's a whole Instagram war now with some cooks that we know that they are really going at it, and their lawsuits being posted. Yeah. So it is insane. So you just have to be careful because these big fish are running out of things, and because we're in this 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 360 information. People are always looking for something else to go viral or something else that'll make their brand stand out, even if it's stealing from a smaller brand.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife sells jewelry online. She uses Etsy, and she's noticed, like, in through Alibaba, she
Yes.
sees her pictures up there, right? It's like, I know that's my picture. So yeah, you mentioned Patreon, right? And so that has a paywall. Does that limit it, the ability for them to steal content, or?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. We don't have a Patreon currently.
Oh,
but
okay.
I am a patron of several accounts.
Yeah.
We have, levels of membership. I think most of the people, I don't think you can, well, I guess most of them are like, if you're going to pay for it, then you can have it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you want to steal it from me via paying me,
Mm-hmm.
at least you paid me something.
Yeah.
These people are literally going on these accounts and taking these ideas, and these people are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to just go scour the internet to steal ideas.
Wow.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially after the Black Lives Matter movement last summer, we got inquiries from so many different brands who wanted to work with us. Some of those intentions were not genuine. They really just wanted to tokenize us, and they didn't have a history. You could go to their social media, you could go back 2 and 3 and 4 years, you would not see a black hand, a black face, anything on their platform, or women. That's a great point, not women. Yeah. And then they come to you and they're like, here's $300, can you do this? And we're like, first of all, that's way not enough money for us to be able to do it. And 2, you need to make a commitment to having diversity and inclusion be a part of your mission, not having some one-off campaign with us and you checked off a box and now you're being diverse and inclusive. That's not how it works. We had very tough conversations with major brands about how they needed to make really decisive changes in their structure of their business if they really wanted to make an impact when it comes to including minorities and multicultural communities.
And it's not a one-time thing. This is a journey. Like it's every day. It's an everyday thing. It's a checking yourself. Even me, like you have to check yourselves every day and see what you're contributing to the mindset, the ideology, the brands, the message. It's just really important to be intentional about type of work.
Yeah. Do you think you've had an impact on any of these companies?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
I'll say yes, even on a small level, as working with Evening Post Books and being the first women of color to even be on the front of a book. When I give this book to little Black girls, they are just so taken back because they've never seen girls with hair like this on the front of a book. And regardless of what content is in the book, they don't even have to read it, but they just have that image. And I don't remember a lot of images like that.
Yeah.
Me growing up, especially nonfiction, like real stuff. I don't remember things like that. So I feel like that is impactful within itself.
I think, excuse me, what we are imparting on the brands that we work with, especially the PR companies that are mostly ran by white females, is that they have to interact with Black women who know what they want from their work output. So some of them have never had to work with a Black person to negotiate a deal, negotiate a contract, talk about finances. So that experience alone, I think, has opened up their minds, and that, we're more educated than they think that we are, more business savvy that they may think that we are. And maybe the next time that they work with another Black run company, that they'll handle them differently.
That's good too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So one of the things, our department, we talked about, the Black Lives Matter movement and what we were doing, in management and marketing. And so I kind of pushed us to develop a statement, but not just, yes, we believe, Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. But here's what we're going to do. And please check us on it. Right. And so one of the easiest things, which I've been pushing for a while, is just simply look at what we're using for speakers and for books and, cases, stuff like that. And so far that's starting to make, a little bit of an impact. One of my colleagues mentioned, like, halfway into the first semester doing that, she's like, I can see the difference already, right? When you start to see, people of color and women as entrepreneurs, as bankers, and whatnot, it starts to take away that idea that, you know, that it's just white men like me that, you know, are the ones that do it.
We definitely go to therapy, and our therapist told us that sometimes people, you're trying to explain the color red to people in a room that's already red. So sometimes you have to pull them out of that red room so they can see,
yeah,
hey, everything is not red. And that's what we essentially are doing, is just pulling people out of the red room.
Yeah.
So.
And that's one of the things I'm trying to do with the one class here, which is the women and minority owned business, or women and minority business owners is the class. It's officially called minority entrepreneurship, but I'm changing it to women and minority business owners, because what I've found, you know, over the years talking with people is that typically women and minorities don't associate as much with the word entrepreneur, right? That I've heard from students that say, you know what, there's not, you know, so I'll have, you know, one or two, you know, women of color in my class, and I'll say, you know, where's everyone else, right? How do I get more? And they're like, well, a lot of us don't really think of ourselves as entrepreneurs, or, you know, our parents, our mom, you know, has run a business for 30 years, but never considered herself an entrepreneur. It's just what she does, right? It's how she makes money, or, you know, she's a business owner. And so, so that's what I'm trying to do in part with this class, is to make it more accessible to more people, to make it more make it seem like, you know, or make it apparent that, you know, it's not limited, right? That this is an option for anyone, right?
That's a great point that you make about, you know, naming yourself and claiming it. We went through a stage like that as well.
Yeah.
When we started Cocktail Bandits, we would say we call ourselves the Cocktail Bandits, or we go by the Cocktail Bandits. And then one day we're like, you know, we have to own this. We have to say, we are the Cocktail Bandits. This is what we do, and not shy away from that, because people sense that insecurity, and that's whenever we would pitch our idea or our concept. But once we owned it and said, this is what we are, this is who we are, it just churned within us and with people who we work with.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
To state that I am an entrepreneur, I am a business owner, and really embody what that means for you. It's different for every person. Everyone runs a business, but to say claim and what you're doing, absolutely, there's power in that.
Oh yeah, and we were just talking. I had a speaker earlier today, Ruth Jordan, who runs the City of Charleston office for women and minority business enterprises. So her main job is basically helping women and minorities start businesses and help them figure out how they get certified to get government contracts. And one of the things that she just, you know, talked about was that, you know, really knowing who you are, what you do, and, you know, picking the right name, and then, you know, and being able to communicate that this is what you do. So, yeah, it's definitely important too.
Like, we got pushback on our name. They were like, maybe you guys should change it from Cocktail Bandits. Maybe that'll be offensive to people and off-putting, but we had to stick to our guns about it. We knew we had something special with that name. And people compliment us all the time on, like, we love that. Without even knowing what you do, we're intrigued by what you are offering.
Yeah.
So, gender neutral. I mean, our logo is gender specific because we're women, but our title is, you know, very neutral because we might want some bandita men, banditos in the future. We want to make sure we
Yeah, actually, so one of the DJs that I follow, they do a show on, he does a show with his friend on Friday nights, and they call themselves the Cocktail Twins. And I said, so you guys got to come on and see the Cocktail Bandits.
That'd be fun.
And that is a takeoff of a band called Cocktail Twins.
Oh.
So, But I do wonder, you know, how you came to that name. Well, I mean, how did you come up with Cocktail Bandits?
Okay, well, we were sitting in Cocktail Club one night, and just like our usual nights, we would go out, just expecting to go, like, you know, have a drink or two, mingle.
Mm-hmm.
And two drinks ended up being like 10. I don't know. There was like alcohol there was bottles there at that point, a couple of beers. We were like, wow, this is an interesting spread. We're like the bandits of cocktails, and we just stuck with it.
There you go.
The very beginning too. So I feel like it was all like kismet. So we just was like, that's cool. We're gonna go with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That moment of inspiration just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it works, yeah, keep it.
That's exactly how it worked out.
Yeah.
It was like the Cocktail Bandit moment. Like that's the epitome.
Yeah.
Bandit behavior, as we call it. You know, good time.
Yeah.
In this industry, that's just how it is. Like you go in somewhere thinking that you're just gonna have one drink. You see a bartender here that you know, a couple of friends over here. Now you're buying shots for them. They're buying you drinks, and that's just how the lifestyle is.
Yeah.
Responsible drinking, of course, but that's just how hospitality and nightlife is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I know a lot of people in the industry, and one of the comments that some people will make is that it's just it's a circular economy in the fact that it's like everybody in the industry supports everybody in the industry. So they're basically trading, you know, it's the same, you know, $20 going around, you know, the community, which has its pros and cons, right? It's obviously it's helpful, but it's not bringing money in, right? You know, each time it's transferred, somebody's taking a piece of it.
True. Yeah, but I think too, like because of social media, we've gotten a lot more connected. So when we are working with a brand, like we work with a vodka brand, we can actually call in some bartenders that we know and say, hey, we're doing this project. This is the budget. You guys want a piece of that? Yeah. So it's like now we're being able to connect and not only support you when we're at your bar and spend money while we're at your bar, but actually giving you an opportunity. And then we have a lot of our friends from DC, from Miami, places like that, who actually gave us opportunities during the pandemic as well. So we helped them out, and then they also gave us a check. So
that's good. Good. Do you do anything on like YouTube or Twitch or any of these other?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. It's coming
though. Okay. We got a backlog of things we got to put on social media.
Yeah.
And content to share. You know, we created so much during the pandemic when it comes to like photos and videos and exchanges that we have not got them all uploaded on our social media, but we do have a YouTube channel. It's just not as active as our Instagram or our Facebook.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's nice about Twitch is that when you have your own channel, you know, obviously, you know, once you reach affiliate status, which isn't hard to get, you then, you know, can make money off of it.
Yeah.
Right. Through subscriptions and then through, you know, people doing tips and all that kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of DJs had gone there, because it was a way to get an income when, you know, the bars and clubs are closed. So that might be a possibility, and particularly if you could like partner up with a club or a DJ or, you know, someone that's out there.
It's not a bad idea. We definitely been trying to really occupy the beverage expert space. If you look on the travel and food network channels, it's mostly white males who are the hosts of these food and drink travel shows. And we've done a couple like sizzle reels and palette type of programming TV shows, but we don't think that the people are properly structuring a show that would have female hosts. Like it's such a male-dominated industry, but they really can't see women speaking on, you know, fine whiskeys in a way that they think an audience would respond positively to it.
And heavy emphasis on what they think,
right?
Because this world is opening up to so many different perspectives. I think that having women host a show, or even just like connecting with these people ourselves and just really telling the stories, we're just going to tell it a different way.
Right.
we're going to share it in a different way. A lot of these shows that we see, they really promote over drinking or woohoo party on, but we really provide a cultural experience. You're not just drinking to get wasted, you're drinking to be a part of the culture.
Yeah.
So,
I think Twitch would be a good place for you. It is, so many people have gone there. It's very diverse in terms of stuff that's up there. It used to just be gaming, right? Now everything is up there, and all kinds of people are up there. And so one of the things I've noticed, just watching like interviews, on the Daily Show, Trevor Noah, right? And talking to someone who, is now like a TV star and how they got started. And it was, they did a little YouTube series, right? And built up an audience and then got the legitimacy, right? And then, worked up from there. So that might be, a way for you to go. And I'm sure you could still work, because you mentioned Vans. Vans has a channel on Twitch. And I'm sure there are other brands. I just haven't seen them come up. I know it only because the label that I know, that I follow, they partnered with Vans to do like a once a month event. But so I mean, there's definitely opportunities out there, I think.
Yeah. There are no limitations on the opportunities out there. And as Taneka said, we try to showcase this to our entire bar community, because there are people who think that when you are in a bartending space that it's limited, no place for you to grow from there. But there are so many opportunities for brand ambassadors, for travel. We work with creative companies like Vans and Converse and just do fun stuff. So
consultations, partnering with the already existing club to reinvent it, or just add a different flair. There's just so many things that we've seen our hospitality folks get into during the pandemic.
And so that's another thing, is just I've seen so many people make connections, right? And now you've got DJs that are already planning guest sets here and there at these other clubs, and how they've all connected. It's really created a really interesting sort of global community now. So again, it seems like that would be a good place for you to just, you try it out.
Look into it, Julia. Let's look into Twitch, please. Talking to our team. In the back here to get us into the platforms. And we do have to wrap it up quickly.
Okay.
Here. Can we get some questions from the?
Yes. Yeah. Any anyone has a question? Christopher, go ahead.
Hey, so you mentioned some of the difficulties dealing with social media. You mentioned your shadow banned on Instagram. I was just wondering, how you've, what kind of challenges you've had with that, if you can elaborate on that, and if you think there's any kind of solution to that kind of problem.
We pray.
Yeah, we're praying for that right now. We actually have someone working on that, checking it out and seeing if we can do anything about the shadow ban. But it does change the way, it does change the way our content goes through the algorithm. So even when we go live now, our lives used to have about 50, 60 people join as soon as we go live. Now it's not even notifying people that we're going live. So that's really annoying, seeing as if we go live once a week. Different posts that we put ad on, or paid partnership, or any kind of any advertisement, they move slower through the algorithm. If it's just us having fun, it moves quickly. So we know whenever we're doing our paid posts that they're slowing up the circulation.
Which is affecting us, because if our brands are used to the content getting 500 likes, 600 likes, and is now only getting 150, 200 likes, they're not getting the ROI that they anticipated with the content. Even though the content itself is beautifully designed, the quality hasn't gone down on the content. It's just not getting the circulation that it got previous to February of this year. So we're figuring out ways to kind of like manipulate the system, post at different times of the day, post more frequently in a consistent pattern to see if that's going to like trick out the system. But we've actually submitted several reviews to Instagram and gotten back very short and direct messages from them that are not friendly or welcoming at all. But
we think that they're just bots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an automated response.
Yeah.
But we're working around it. And that's why I say again, having your own website, having your own list of subscribers. We do have a newsletter that we send out to our subscribers, so we are still able to connect with them that way. But there has definitely been a hindrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard email lists are one of the most important things you can have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. People who don't check on Instagram every day, I don't know these people, but people like that exist. They read the emails.
And notifications too.
Yeah.
And email notifications. I just check my email when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So you're seeing these notifications.
Yeah, so that's an effective way to move around it, but we definitely want to regain control of our Instagram page. We've been sitting at the same amount of followers for a long time too, so they've been slowing that down as well. Because we'll get the notification of like new follower, but the number of followers doesn't go up. So again, somebody else's platform, you can only do so much within those parameters, but we've been able to really build a business that we don't have to rely solely on Instagram. We can make money without having to use that platform.
Yeah. Another thing that's so great about these problems is that there are going to be opportunities for people to create jobs. There are going to be opportunities for people to be able to create solutions and be real Instagram experts, because as these things change, we need somebody to educate us on these changes, because we're actually creating the content. We can't monitor Instagram every second to figure out when they're changing things, when we're trying to actually produce content and get it out there and be in real-time presence. It's just a lot.
So
other influencers that we see on social media are dealing with the same problem. There are so many creators that we know who are dealing with some form of a shadow man.
Yeah.
And one more thing. There are things that we posted 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and now it's like not allowed. And so they like strike you for things that you had posted 7 years ago.
Wow.
Like, well, it was allowed then. So y'all changed it up. But because a lot of people delete all of their content. We haven't deleted anything. We want you to see the whole journey.
Right.
But you would get a little spanking for that too.
Wow. So you do, I'm assuming that you do some live stream, right, on Instagram. Do you do it to multiple platforms, or is it a single stream?
Right now it's a single stream. Our assistant Julia is working on that with StreamYard. She's over here smiling.
Okay.
Trying to figure that out for us. Do you have a suggestion on how we do
Restream.
Restream. Okay.
Restream.io will allow you to stream to multiple sites at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
StreamYard is good for like doing this. I've been thinking about trying to do this, these interview kind of things, because you bring in two people and all that, but not really for restreaming. So I know a lot of people that they'll stream like when they're doing their DJ set on Twitch, they're also streaming to Periscope and YouTube.
Periscope. Oh, wow.
Well, Periscope is owned by Twitter now, but but I mean, so the idea is you can stream to multiple places all at the same time via Restream.
Nice.
And I think it's even here in Zoom, I could start streaming to Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, wow.
But that might be just because we have like the big corporate account for the college or whatever, but
we got the basic Zoom account,
Yeah. But yeah, so there's one of the things, that's going on with the fact that we're all online and doing all this is that there's so much new stuff out there. There are so many platforms. And so I've been watching a lot of them, trying to, see, what's up and coming and what's going to work out, what's going to stay, what's not going to stay. And, that's all still to be determined, but there has been just a whole bunch of other types of platforms out there. There's a couple of them where you go and you kind of, everybody that goes in can like be a character on the screen and move around and interact with people.
Wow.
But while you also can do like a presentation in one room, you know, and music in another or what. So it's like they're really taking as much of what we would normally do in person and making it virtual.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think this is going to change up too much. I think people are still going to be doing virtual engagements, especially for their teams and their staff and stuff moving forward.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people out there that can help with Twitch. I mean, the community I know is all very helpful. I'm happy to help as I can. That's kind of what I do, is I help. You know, I'm called kind of I'm the hype train conductor. So if you've been on Twitch, you know, if there's a thing called the hype train. Once you get a couple events going, like event being a subscription or somebody giving tips, you get enough of those in a row, it creates a hype train, which is basically encouraging everybody to spend more money, right? And so I usually kind of instigate those, you know, and that helps out, you know, the DJs to get, you know, more subscribers, more bits, all that kind of stuff. And I'm always recommending channels going and rating other. So when you're done with your show, you can raid into another channel, right? And that's how you get exposure to more people. There's a lot going on. It's very much there's a lot about community. In fact, I'm working on research right now about the community aspect of Twitch.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep that in mind, and definitely if we need any assistance, get set up.
Because you know, if you get on there, I'll definitely follow you and promote you. So for sure. I actually do have on my channel, I still have a clip of the bit you guys did for the Women of Color Entrepreneur Forum. So that's up there. I saved it as a highlight, so it's always there. So yeah, I can send you a direct link to it so you can see it and share it if you want. And yeah.
Well, if there are not any other questions, we're gonna go ahead and slide out here. But
okay,
we have our email.
Yes.
If anybody wants to contact us directly, please do so. We are always looking for intern support. One of our team members, Julia, she was one of our interns from the College of Charleston and stayed with us, and we love her so much. So please, we're always looking for help.
Great. Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and the class and everybody else, and I look forward to seeing you in the future and in the social media world.
Yes.
And else.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Bye. Thank you. Stop streaming and stop recording.